Welcome to Agent of Wealth Podcast with Marc Bautis from Bautis Financial. In this podcast, Marc helps small business owners and retirees overcome the multiple wealth planning challenges involved in your financial life. We do this by creating comprehensive wealth management plans to guide you towards financial freedom, ensure you never run out of money, and help create a balance in life that prioritizes what is most important to you. Join us for this journey as Marc draws from years of expertise and guest experts to solve the multiple wealth planning issues involved in your financial life.
Hello and welcome to the Agent of Wealth with Marc Bautis of Bautis Financial. Today he has a special guest on, and that is Jason Early. And I'm going to welcome both of them to the show. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Eric.
How are you, Jason?
I'm doing awesome. Appreciate you having me.
Well, thanks for coming. And Marc, thank you for bringing him here. And that leads me to my next question. How did you get to know Jason?
Yeah, so today we have Jason Early on. Jason's the Chief Revenue Officer at BizEquity. And I'm especially excited about having Jason on. BizEquity is a company I've recently partnered with to offer business valuations to my business clients that I work with. So welcome, Jason.
Thanks for having me.
Maybe you can start off with a little bit of your background, how you got to BizEquity, and then kind of how BizEquity got started.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with BizEquity about 18 months, but have known the company for a lot longer. The founder and CEO of BizEquity is a guy by the name of Mike Carter, and I've known Mike for about 10 years. And so he started the company 7.5, 8 years ago, and the first 3.5 years, we're building the technology and the algorithm for our platform. And so I knew Mike at that time and knew BizEquity when it was just an idea. And so I came out of the financial services space. I spent 8 years or so with a boutique advisory firm by the name of Creative Financial Group here in Philadelphia. And then spent 3 years with a relatively innovative kind of training and consulting firm to the financial services space called Hoopus. And so about 18 months ago when I joined BizEquity, the timing was just right. And Mike and the team had really started to kind of explode as they started to scale the business and, packaging it and delivering it through those that serve the business owner. So financial advisors, bankers, accountants, things like that. And it's been a great journey, and we're having an awful lot of fun.
So is BizEquity, it's pretty straightforward. It's somewhere where someone can go to get a valuation on a business that either they have or they're looking to buy. Is that how BizEquity works?
Yeah, there's several parts of the platform. So it's an online cloud-based valuation platform. And so our mission at BizEquity is to democratize business valuation knowledge for the business owner. So when you think about valuation done traditionally and why so few businesses actually know their value, it's because valuation, again, done traditionally is a pain, right? It's offline, it's very expensive, takes an awful long time, it's highly intrusive, and so the value prop just isn't there. And so our platform makes it faster, easier, and cheaper, quite frankly, and we put it in the hands of those that already serve the business owner. And so that's exactly right. We have a cloud-based valuation platform that our subscribers can white label, and they can deliver valuations in real time to their business owner clients. And we pair that then with a prospecting and engagement tool as well, where business owners, our subscribers can go in and dynamically search for business owners that that they're looking to engage with.
Yeah, I think the thing that was most appealing to me, or one of the things that was appealing to me about BizEquity, was I work with a lot of small business owners, and we'll put a financial plan together, and majority of them have no idea what their business is worth, to the point where they say, don't even include it in the plan. So, I guess just like every business starts at some point, everyone is going to there's going to be some kind of either exit strategy, succession planning. So it inherently will be part of the plan, but they just don't know what the actual true value of the business is.
And it's such a great point, right? And it's what we've long said, which is, how can you as a business owner do anything, be it a succession plan, an estate plan, a financial plan, know that you're properly diversified in your portfolio, ensure that you're properly funded? How can you do any of those things if you don't know the value, right? And 9.9 times out of 10, the business is the largest asset for the owner. And so we know that the statistics are such that only 2% of privately held businesses value themselves. And that was a problem, right, for us. And so all the way back to its founding, that's what BizEquity set out to solve, which was business owners, right? We believe as a company that business owners deserve to know their value. And to your point, not just at exit, right? Because everybody is going to exit their business one way or another, but it's not just then. It's throughout the entire life cycle of your business. And so we don't want you to have to just value your business when there's a triggering event, but every decision you make as a business owner, hiring, firing, every decision that you make has an impact on the value of your business. And so we think there ought to be an easy way to track and understand that value. And so that's what we set out to do.
So it's not just let's value our business one time and kind of we're done. It's more of something that can be just as if you're tracking, net worth or cash flow. It's something that the business owner can track over time.
It's exactly right. And it dramatically affects your plans, right? The value of your business changes very certainly, and that changes your entire financial plan. 78% of business owners say that they're going to fund their retirement at least 60% through the sale of their business. So when you think about that, right, 78% say they're going to fund their retirement through the sale of their business, but only 2% of businesses know what they're worth, right? So that's insane. And so having an understanding of that value affects everything in your financial life, right? Have you protected the value of that business, right? For your business partners, for your employees, most important, your family. Have you thought about kind of what that transition plan looks like? And most have not. They're worried about their business and whether or not they're making payroll or all the things that keep them up at night. I mean, 9 times out of 10, right? That's all about their business. People don't wake up in the morning thinking about their estate plan or their risk management or their investment portfolio. Business owners specifically, right? They're thinking about their business. And so, we, right, at BizEquity believe very strongly that their business is certainly their most important asset. So how do you not know and understand and track the value of that asset?
Yeah, and I guess it's so you mentioned that some of the reasons why someone doesn't have a business valuation, right? There's the cost aspect of it, but I guess also it's not easy to figure out where to go to get one. So that's probably another reason. I guess the other one, maybe a business owner is afraid of actually finding out what their valuation is. But is there any other reason that you can think of why a business owner wouldn't get one done?
Well, it's severalfold, and it's a great question. I think your first point is spot on in that they don't always know where to go, and very typically they'll kind of go to their most trusted advisor, and a lot of times for the business owner that's their accountant, and so they'll ask their accountant, and the accountant may or may not provide business valuation as a service. The ones that do, they have to charge an awful lot because when you think about it from an accountant standpoint, it takes a lot of hours to dig in and value a business. And their time's valuable. And so it's not a great business model for either side, meaning, if I'm an accounting firm and business valuation is a practice, part of our practice, I need somebody that's an expert and that can spend an awful lot of time. So for that, we have to charge an awful lot. And so it becomes very difficult for them to scale, number one. And then number two, they have to go to the business owner and say, yeah, it's going to cost $7,500, right, at a minimum. And the business owner says, maybe not, right? And so, again, the value prop isn't there for the business owner. And so they end up saying, well, ballpark me, right? And the accountant might say, well, based on your industry, you're trading at a couple times earnings or a couple times revenue or whatever the case might be, right? Depending on the industry they're in. And so they do just kind of a back of the napkin and they go from there. But again, we at BizEquity saw that as a problem, right? That business owners deserve to know exactly what their business is worth, and how can we create a value prop that allows them to find that out and understand that and track that in real time. So a business that's built for today. And so, to your point, number one, a lot of times they don't know where to go, or if they do know where to go, the value prop isn't there. I mean, you think about it from public companies, right, have long been afforded the ability to understand their value, right? We have markets that value their business and people that track their business on a daily basis. Private equity and venture-backed companies, right? They kind of the 1% of privately held companies that have access to that capital and or investment bankers, right? They have a pretty good understanding of what their business is worth because they're being told and evaluated almost daily as well. But the 99% of businesses out there, the kind of Main Street businesses that really fuel our economy, aren't afforded that value. And again, we had a problem with that.
Right. Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. How does the platform work? How does a business owner, what data do they need? Is it all online that they're generating this valuation from?
Yeah, so we are a subscription-based service that we sell our platform or license our platform to those that are already serving the business owner. So think financial advisors, risk management experts, bankers, accountants, private equity folks, things like that, M&A advisors will license our platform and they'll deliver it on their own white label. So if I now have access to the BizEquity platform, I can take my white label and I can go through it several ways. I could send the business owner a secure smart link directly from our platform. The business owner could input the data, right? And then in turn, we would generate the report and go meet with the business owner on it. I could sit live in my office or theirs and walk through the platform. It's very interactive and user friendly. So I, as the advisor, could walk through the 7 steps with the business owner. We have a kind of TurboTax like number, right, that's going to change dynamically as you go throughout. So as you input information, you're going to see that business value change. And then once you input all the data in real time, you can generate that report. So if all the information is present, right, in about 10 or 15 minutes, you can input all that data and have a really robust 29-page business valuation report that's going to go through 4 different conclusions of value on the business. It's going to go through a financial summary. It's going to go through a dozen or so different KPIs or key performance indicators that we kind of call McKinsey for Main Street, right? So you can benchmark these business owners against their industry peers and how they're doing in different areas of their business. And so, again, it's, excuse the pun, but you as a subscriber to BizEquity are delivering a ton of value to this business owner because, number one, for the first time, they now understand the value of their business. And 2, they see how they're stacking up against their industry peers. And so it's really valuable data for them to see and to understand kind of what levers they can push and pull to drive more value in their business.
Yeah. So I think a couple of points that you made, which one is this can be done in 15, 20 minutes, correct? It's not something that's going to take the owner hours and hours to input data into.
Yeah, exactly right. So all the data that we collect, and it's effectively on our platform 3 years worth of financials. And so if the business owner has their kind of business tax returns from the past 3 years, and again, a matter of 15 or 20 minutes, you can get all the data into the platform. And even if you were to go to just www.bizequity.com as a business owner, with just a couple pieces of information, meaning industry, geography, revenue, and income, with just those pieces of data, we'll provide that business owner a range of value on their business. And so, again, for that, right, they're given 4 or 5 pieces of data. We're going to provide them with a range of value. And then, in fact, our AI engine, Franklin, then matches or connects those businesses to our advisors or subscribers to our platform so that they can walk them through the full 29-page report. And so that's a little bit of how we've used kind of AI to connect business owners, right, who are craving an understanding of their business value to advisors and subscribers on our platform.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that at least I get questions on when presenting BizEquity is that it'll actually take the specific industry that the owner is into account. So the engine is smart enough to know that different industries are valued at different ways. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So, and this is to our founding team's credit, right? When in the business valuation space, you can't be half right. So our chief valuation officer is a guy by the name of Scott Gabehart, and Scott built our algorithm. Scott remains with us today, and he's done more than 5,000 offline valuations in his career. He's testified for the SBA and the IRS numerous times and literally wrote the business valuation book. So Scott is an expert on valuing Main Street businesses, and he built our algorithm to cover over 900 different industries. So industry is very important, as you know, from a valuation standpoint. And our platform uses more data than arguably anybody in terms of transaction history and market comp data and things like that. So all of that feeds our algorithm, which then values the businesses in real time. So industry is very important. In just step one, you're going to choose the industry of the business that you're valuing. And so you'll just start typing in, be it a dentist or a manufacturing firm or a landscaping firm or a management consulting firm. You just start typing that in, and we're going to serve up the proper industry code for you.
Mm-hmm. And I know you mentioned that there are different ways that the owner can get the information in. Do they have the ability to actually allow their CPA or advisor access to enter the info on their behalf?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we tried to build it, right, so that every kind of use case is covered. So they absolutely do. If you were to, again, send that smart link to the business owner, and the business owner had a couple pieces of the information and they started plugging away and said, well, gosh, I don't have any of this information handy. They can, number one, save it for later, but two, they can always delegate, right? And so I could click the delegate button and I could forward that link effectively to my CFO or controller, to my accountant, whoever, and that would send a secure smart link to that third party, who would then upload the information and then it pulls right back into your platform. So you can do it online as the business owner. You can do it live, right, with the advisor sitting there. In our Client Success Center, we house a fact finder. So the subscriber to our platform may send to the business owner a fact finder who could fill that out, and then ultimately, somebody on the team of our subscriber could input the data and go deliver the report. So there's several different ways to get the information in, and we try to kind of account for all use cases that we could imagine.
Yeah, and I think the simplicity of it is great too. So I've done a bunch of these recently, and I mean it's easy to line up tax return data into the field that needs to be entered into BizEquity, and it's pretty simple to enter or to do to actually create one.
Well, and we appreciate that because, when the team was building the platform, obviously there's a lot of kind of complex things going on behind the scenes and coming up with the valuation. But we wanted, right, the team wanted the user interface and the user experience to be very simple. And I didn't build it, right? I'm not an engineer. And so I can say that I think it is, right, beautifully simplistic. And it's very easy to pull somebody through the 7 steps. So if you're not very bright like me, right, and you don't know anything about business valuation, you can still pull somebody through the 7 steps because, again, our online help system will drive it. Meaning, if I'm looking at the financial inputs, right, that need to go in, and I'm asking for officer compensation as an example, I, as the user, can hover over officer compensation, and we'll tell you exactly what that means by definition and exactly where you can find it on the tax form. So I literally don't have to know anything about business valuation or anything for that matter, and I could pull somebody through the 7 steps because it's very simple and again, a lot of complex things going on behind the scenes, but from a user standpoint, it's very simple.
Yeah, and I think we're talking a lot about business owners, but I actually ran one of these last week for someone who was looking at purchasing a business. So the use case, not just business owners, but it can also be used for someone who's thinking about and wants to see if what they're going to offer or what the listing price of a business is really is the true value of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's certainly no shortage of use cases for the platform, and so we have people that certainly are thinking about exiting their business that'll use this to kind of gain an understanding of what they may or may not want to go to market for. Certainly on the buy side as well. So there's an awful lot of different use cases, and people ask us that question all the time, which is, what do you prefer? What's kind of the most common use case? And the reality is for us, it doesn't matter, meaning whether you're doing it for financial planning purposes, gifting for estate taxes, or you're selling the business or you're buying a business or whatever the case might be, that doesn't matter to us, meaning we believe that business owners deserve to know the value of their business. And so it's our mission to democratize that knowledge, right? And create a value prop for the marketplace that's better than 4 to 6 weeks and $7,500 at a minimum and things like that. So, it also, I don't say that as a knock to those that provide business valuation services today, because again, I don't think the value prop's there for them either. Meaning it's not a scalable business the way that it is today. So we have people that are in the business valuation space using our platform to scale their practice. Right now I can do them faster, right? With less time invested, and I can still charge for it. But I have a more kind of robust report that I can deliver in a much quicker time frame, and I don't have to charge as much. And so it provides those that are in the business an opportunity to deliver it at scale, and then even feed maybe So I think about some of our clients, right? That we end up in a lot of conversations, I'll say, with investment bankers, and it's not really an investment banking tool, right? Investment bankers are still going to go through their process and value a business and for transaction purposes. But what this does is this feeds kind of those conversations or opportunities. So people using our platform will investment bankers may source more deals, right? If they have people using our platform, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense, and you can see all the different, I guess, use cases, types of people that would use it. Just going back to the actual valuation report. So that's kind of the outcome of, when an owner goes through this use case. So I know, they're probably most concerned about seeing that number, that valuation number that's spit out. But you mentioned some of the KPIs that are on there. Are they able to use this report to see or compare how they're doing against other businesses in their industry?
Yeah, so the report includes several things. It's going to include 4 different conclusions of value on the business. So an equity value, an enterprise value, an asset value, and a liquidation value of the business with definitions around each one. It's going to include a financial summary. And then it does include a page for each of those 12 different key performance indicators. And so that's benchmarking them against their industry peers and how they're performing against their industry peers in these 12 different key areas. And then on the dashboard, we'll stack rank the business. So we'll stack rank that business both locally and nationally against their industry peers. So I may be the 5th most valuable dentist in Berwyn, Pennsylvania, but I may be the 3,800 most valuable dentist out of 500,000 across the country, or whatever the case might be. So we'll stack rank them against their industry peers by value as well. Okay, and so I guess so they do. So this report is generated, and then what's next? Can they, as their data changes, as they do their next year's, is it something that they should do once a year? Is it something once every couple of years, once a month? How often do you see people actually updating their valuation? Yeah, I don't have a clear answer to that. I mean, we certainly believe that the business owners at a very minimum, right, ought to know the value of their business on an annual basis. Some advisors who are updating financial plans more frequently than that may do it more frequently. There may be different things throughout the course of a year that a business owner may want to spot check and understand what their value is worth at that given time, and so may do it more frequently. But I would say most businesses and kind of the subscribers to our platform are certainly doing an update at least annually.
All right. So thank you, Jason. I think we're just about out of time. For any business owner who wants to get a valuation, I offer the free service to do it. You can go to my website, bautisfinancial.com/business valuation, and you can go through this exact process that Jason went over today. Jason, if someone wants to connect with you or learn more about you and BizEquity, how can they reach you?
Yeah, if you just go to www.bizequity.com, all the information is there. You can certainly email me direct. I'm just jason@bizequity.com. And all the information is pretty clear and concise on our website.
Okay, so thanks for joining us, Jason.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Jason, this is fantastic. I would love to see, I'm gonna talk to Marc later about how he utilizes this in his every day, working with his clients, because it sounds like your platform is incredibly robust. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure.
All right. And thank you all for listening to the Agent of Wealth podcast with Marc Bautis. If you have not subscribed to the podcast yet, please click the subscribe now button below. This way, when Marc comes out with a new podcast, it'll show up directly on your listening device. This makes it much easier to share these podcasts with your friends and family. Again, thanks for listening today. For everyone at Bautis Financial, this is Eric Johnson reminding you to live your best day every day. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Agent of Wealth podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Bautis Financial. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment and financial planning.